Welcome to the 7th Norm Therapy Intake Specialist Course Recognition Ceremony. We're so glad you joined us. And now, a message from the creator of Norm Therapy and our co-founder, Michael Gibson.
Welcome everyone to our Norm Therapy Intake Specialist Candidate Recognition Ceremony. Hello, my name is Michael Gibson. I am the creator of Norm Therapy and the co-founder of Abuse Refuge Org. We welcome you here today to bear witness to the recognition of our NTIS candidates, advancement to Norm Therapy Intake Specialist qualified status. Our qualified candidates have just completed 10 weeks of our basic course and 2 additional weeks of our mod training. That's methods of teaching and training. We are very proud of your NTIS qualified completion. Many of you embarked upon this journey unsure of yourself and even questioning your own ability and desire to even be here in the first place. But you made the right choice and persevered. But you're not done yet, as upon receipt of your recognition documents, you will have officially started your probationary period. Congratulations, everyone, and in about 90 days, if you successfully complete your probationary period, you will be awarded and will have earned the title of Norm Therapist. So far, we have mapped out 3 career pathing areas for now, and we are developing additional paths for our Norm Therapists. Of course, the first is being a Norm Therapist dealing with victims and survivors. Secondly, a corporate liaison dealing with providing services and training to corporations and institutions around the world. And lastly, and this could be very interesting to some of our more senior and seasoned Norm Therapists, having your own Norm Therapy practice. Our mission is to entrepreneurialize a Norm Therapy leader who wants to pursue their own practice. During just about every quarter of any year, the Norm Therapy Management puts on a career day. Make sure you speak with our management team or any of our Norm Therapists for more information. I appreciate all of you coming out here today, and I wish great success and opportunity for this recognition cohort. Thank you.
We continue with a message from our Global Executive Director and co-founder, Kelly Dean.
Hi there, my name is Kelly Dean, and I'm the Global Executive Director and co-founder of Abuse Refuge Org, or affectionately known as ARROW. Today I'd like to share with you how Norm Therapy not only changed my life, but it saved my life. So a few years ago, I found myself in a really dark place. I had tried everything up until that point, to include 10 years of counseling. And along came Norm Therapy. I was actually the first person to ever go through Norm Therapy, and I learned a whole lot. I learned that I was a pathological liar, and I learned that I had been the victim of abuse in 10 areas, which we now focus on. So, Michael Gibson is our other co-founder and creator of Norm Therapy, and you will learn a whole lot more about it and all that we're doing. So I hope that Norm Therapy is something that you're able to participate in, get involved with, and maybe, just maybe, it will change and save your life the way that it did for me.
Again, hello everyone, and welcome to Abuse Refuge Org's, affectionately known as ARROW, Course Recognition Ceremony for the 7th cohort of the Norm Therapy Intake Specialist Qualifiers, class of December 2022. I am Kim Carpenter, and I am your host today for the Norm Therapy Intake Specialist Course Recognition Ceremony. My experience at ARROW has been both rewarding and productive in playing an integral role within Norm Therapy leadership as one of the pioneers and the Norm Therapy manager. Norm therapy is an innovative abuse management interviewing process whereby norm therapists will interview an eclectic array of victims or survivors from around the world, further examine their life narratives, and assist the victim or survivor in discerning the veracity or the hyperbole surrounding their own experiences and chronology of their pathology. This is no easy task. Not only have we developed norm therapy for North America, moreover, we are developing norm therapy for different regions of the world, as well as for several outreach programs to include the disability community, children and families, and other specialized programs across numerous platforms. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, H.E. Honorable Reverend Dr. Gregory Jerome Thomas, Sr., ordained apostle, peace ambassador, teacher, published author, motivational speaker, radio and television talk show host, Christian counselor, life, business, and family coach, real estate developer, humanitarian, consultant, actor, and screenwriter. Dr. Gregory Thomas is passionate about helping people around the world attain true happiness and more success amid great challenges. Dr. Thomas is the pastor of Christian Faith Ministries and founder of the 501(c) nonprofit Community Development Corporation and Community Housing Development Organization, the New Orleans Center for Successful Living, Inc. As someone who enjoys giving back to his community, he has spearheaded various development projects for the betterment of the New Orleans people. Seeking to impact many with his vision, he's currently writing for publications several volumes of work for faith-based community economic development. Dr. Thomas has a proven track record of exceptional excellence for improving the quality of life of people across the world, and the reason he received the Presidential Award from former President Barack Obama. Each day, he propels many with great wisdom in the areas of housing, business, family development, career, education, and spiritual growth using powerful, practical, and realistic strategies. And now, the creator of norm therapy, Michael Gibson, will introduce our special guest of honor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Gibson, and it's my esteemed pleasure to introduce tonight my dear friend and colleague in many different areas, Dr. Gregg Thomas. I've known him for well over 30 years. I'll keep it low this time, Greg. And he's always been a man of great substance, traditional values, integrity, high moral fiber, and honesty. We have been involved in many transactions and dealings and interactions over the years, and I can attest that this person, my friend, has a business acumen that is far beyond most folks' reach. His innovative approach brings a fresh perspective and honest relationships to everything and every personal ordeal he endeavors. Being a minister, an ordained minister as well, he's always taken the opportunity to entrepreneurialize his faithful and faith-based followers. With the utmost respect and friendship, I would like for everyone to give a warm welcome to your keynote speaker, Dr. Gregg Thomas.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Gregg Thomas. And Michael, thank you so much for those kind words. You see, I need help around here. I can't do all of this myself. And just one simple move just caused a little challenge. And I deeply apologize. I'm so honored to be here tonight and to have the opportunity to speak for such a wonderful occasion, these graduates and all the wonderful work that they've done. And I've chosen, to speak from a subject that I'm very familiar with, and I believe that is so important to so many other people to live your best life after abuse. Over the last 40 years as a pastor and Christian counselor, I have seen and worked with hundreds of individuals who have had to overcome the stigma and after effects of being abused. For many, it's been like being bound by lock and chain. It doesn't matter if you've been abused physically or verbally, sexually, or emotionally. I want you to know that there is life after abuse. Now, Romans 12, verse 2 tells us how Paul was able to do this. He said in the scripture, to be not conformed by the world. In other words, he was saying, deal with the issues in order to be healed and to live your best life. You know, we need to give up the world's way of handling abuse. And the world's way are the traditions of men, or you see it in families where it's being repeated over and over again because of the behaviors of the family, not knowing what to do. And oftentimes we use, artificial treatments and remedies to numb the pain, and methods to numb the pain by using medication or drugs or alcohol or other prosthetics. You see, we must learn to let go of the traditions of men that cause the word of God to be ineffective. We must be transformed by the renewing of our minds. The Greek word for transform is the word metamorpho, which is where the English term comes from, metamorphosis, which means progressively change. The word renewing is a construction term. As an example, when a property is under construction, the contractor does not take something that's been termite infested or wood that is rotten because of the elements and just paint over it just to have an outer appearance of renewal. But he takes his time and renovates it by stripping away the old rotten termite infested wood in order to replace it with brand new wood. This is what God is able to do in our lives. You matter to God, and you were created in his image. You've been fearfully and wonderfully made, and God's greatest desire is to see you prosper in life and to see you healed and be restored so that you can live your best life. You know, what I'm about to share with you is what I personally had to overcome. And when I talk about the stigma of abuse and to get set free from the past, I have found that there are just as many men who have suffered abuse as women. Researchers have found that at least 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual abuse or assault, whether in childhood or as adults. Domestic violence is considered one of the most pressing issues in American society. Everyone quotes the statistic given by the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence that 1 in 4 women will be victims of domestic violence at some point in their lives, and 1.3 million women are assaulted by their partner every year. 85% of domestic violence are reported against women. However, in a conflicting survey taken by the CDC many years ago, around 2010, that it was found that 40% of the victims of severe physical domestic violence are men. Despite many findings that show almost equal amounts of abuse perpetrated against men and women, the media and the government only focus the most attention on the female victims of domestic violence. You see, men are largely silent on the issue because of perception that men are physically stronger and should be able to subdue a female attacker easily. Those men who do not report physical violence are more likely to be ridiculed by law enforcement and by the public than women are. More money is spent on women's programs and more crusades are launched, and it should be on behalf of our women who are victims of domestic violence, despite the fact that men are almost equally, or in some cases, more likely to be victims of both physical and verbal and psychological abuse. You see, verbal abuse happens within many dynamics, even if it's not talked about regularly. One specific area of verbal abuse is that it's not often readily apparent. Involves men who suffer verbal abuse. However, just because there might not be a lot of pertinent case numbers or stories in the news about this does not mean this issue doesn't exist. For many men, dealing with verbal abuse is a common problematic reality in their lives. You see, as a kid growing up, I was constantly abused verbally and often physically beaten by my father, who did to me what his father did to him. I want you to know, hurt people don't have to hurt people. In counseling and as a pastor, I have witnessed and how the verbal and psychological abuse of men in relationships has forced them to simply retreat from their family, putting a strain on their children and everyone else involved, while many individuals blame the man for his actions and the resulting stress. This behavior was a direct result of abuse he suffered and kept silent. Now, I can go on and give you statistics after statistics, but because of time, whether you're a man or woman, I want you to know that there is life after abuse and you can live your best life. So I want to leave you with 10 things that you might want to do and to live your best life. Number one, stop enabling the abuser. Free yourself by taking the keys away from the spirit of the abuse and the abuser. Number two, stop blaming yourself for what you have endured. Number three, be honest about your feelings, your hurts, and your regrets. Number four, set a date to change the behavior of being the victim or having a victim mentality. You can be victorious. To have a victor mindset, it takes 21 to 30 days of discipline to break a habit and, and 30 to 60 days of new behaviors to create a whole new lifestyle and behavior pattern. Number five, write down the rewards of being disciplined in creating a new DNA. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You see, God created the human body, whereas the DNA is rebuilt every 60 days. Number six, stop nursing it. Number seven, stop rehearsing it. Number eight, don't curse it. What do I mean? Make a decision that you will not allow what has happened to you become a curse repeated in the next generation through your children or others in your environment. Then number nine, make positive declarations about who you are and the future you expect to become. And number 10, trust God. Know that he will not forsake you in the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for joining us today. If everyone could please take a moment to unmute and show your appreciation via a round of applause. We will now continue with the remainder of our schedule of events, which includes an overview and background about the program. We will hear from the creator of Norm Therapy and co-founder of Arrow, Michael Gibson, who will be sharing a powerful message, as well as some of the Norm Therapy interviewees and providing their testimonies. Then on to the best part, the celebration of those who have completed their NTIS training course. Before we end our time together, we will hear from a few of our Norm therapists, and we will also be giving anyone who is interested in learning more about our program an opportunity to stick around for some Q&A. As a SHRM certified HR professional with over 25 years experience in human relations and in being a survivor of financial, sexual, childhood, narcissistic, psychological, bullying, workplace, and spousal abuses, I greatly understand the correlation of Arrow's mission to train a cadre of intake specialists who would be the vanguard within the abuse care community and serve as process interviewers for victims or survivors of abuse. While many of us may not be licensed counselors, therapists, or doctors, being a certified Norm therapist does grant us a unique opportunity to work one-on-one with the victims or survivors of abuse when they are in need of someone specialized to call out their lies to effectively help the victim or survivor discern their critical life circumstances at a time when they are struggling to find those deeper connections to their normal. Norm therapy is more personalized than traditional therapies, whereby the norm therapists are able to self-disclose to the victims or survivors our experiences and life knowledge, and further connect to what the victim or survivor has been through. Not all interviews will possess every element of this structure. However, the Norm Therapy platform gives the most comprehensive approach towards the victim or survivor in finding clarity, providing assessment, and arriving at the truth. A great deal of hard work, sacrifice, and experiential knowledge has gone into Norm Therapy. Michael Gibson, the creator of Norm Therapy and Arrow's co-founder and managing director, has spent over 25 years developing this concept. He found himself in a myriad of situations around the world where people would consistently seek his wisdom or advice. Can you think of a friend who you also reach out to talk to? Michael Gibson was literally that friend on an exponential basis to many. What Michael Gibson believes is simple. Most people who suffer from abuse have somehow conditioned themselves to endure the abuse over time. We oftentimes give the example that if a man were to go home from work, greet his wife, and then slap her face, and her reaction to having been slapped, if she does nothing at all, will become normalized. And after a year or even a few months of arriving home, slapping his wife would then become normalized behavior and acceptance of that behavior. Perhaps then in the future, the wife would simply put her cheek out for her husband to slap, thinking that maybe he had forgotten that day. On this premise, norm therapy was born, that if somehow a victim or survivor is convinced through trauma, psychological or physical, and the victim or survivor has normalized the pain and destruction, Michael saw an opportunity to help people find clarity about their abuses. He firmly believes that people plot their own destinies through a series of decisions, and the more decisions you make, the better you will become at making decisions. He also believes that people will only ever do to you what you allow them to do, or what they think they can get away with. The job of the norm therapist is first and foremost to find clarity in a victim or survivor's chronology of their pathologies. We are not here to cure anyone. However, we are here to help the victim or survivor find their truth. Kelly Dean, the global executive director and co-founder of Arrow, was actually the very first person to have successfully gone through norm therapy. She may not be perfect, but Kelly is a far cry from where she used to be and realizes that norm therapy probably saved her life. In many walks of life, a wide swath of our global population experience abuse every single day, from one kind to another. Kelly experienced at least 12 different abuses, both chronic and acute, over the course of her life to include narcissism, sexual, physical, psychological, financial, child, self, cyberbullying, bullying, spousal, isolation, and workplace abuses. It was quite debilitating for her as she journeyed throughout her pain. The entire Arrow organization was envisioned and created based on Kelly's abuses endured, and this is only the beginning. In the future, Arrow will be adding alcohol, substance, institutional, and prison abuses upon receiving certifications for the appropriate abuse care licensures. I would now like to turn the microphone over to the creator of Norm Therapy, co-founder and managing director of Arrow, Michael Gibson.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you, Dr. Gregg Thomas. I would like to thank all of you for being here today. I am Michael Gibson. I am the creator of Norm Therapy, the co-founder of Arrow, and the CEO of MGA Enterprise, LLC, under which Norm Therapy is housed. Over the past 26 years or more, I have been developing a series of techniques and important protocols that I have randomly and strategically applied while getting to know and experiencing life with many people from around the world. What I've found most often while using these techniques was that people everywhere want to share as much as they possibly can, without exception, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I started to ponder and relate back on my impactful life in the military and combine those lessons from childhood on, derived with a vigorous investigative study and observation regimen, voraciously covering as many philosophies, religions, theta teachings, books on psychology and history, and as well as having perused quite a plethora of existentialism related topics and material, and more importantly, interviewing countless of thousands of people in my life. After having spent many years and literally decades discerning a myriad of subjects, what I came to learn was that we all are pretty much the same. For the most part, Our major differences were religion, culture, race, and language. Essentially, we all believe in hope. We all believe in justice. We all believe in survival. We all believe in giving up. We all believe in hatred. We all believe in lying. We all believe in truth. We all believe in laughter. We all believe in tears. We all understand money the same. We all understand its loss as well. We all accept the premise of business and commerce, just as we all understand charity and giving. We all believe in kindness. However, we know that vengeance lives in the dark. We all believe in sacrifices, and more often than not, we are selfish. We all believe in education, while some people wallow in conspiracy and stupidity. We all believe in letting some live, and we also all believe in letting others die. We all believe we are smarter than the next person, while at the same time believing that we are inferior to some. We all believe in family, as well as sometimes turn our backs, as we often ostracize our own families. I could probably go on for quite some time with these incongruencies and congruences, but I'd like to take an opportunity to share what I believe is the most important understanding I've learned over the last quarter century or more, and that's love. We all desperately believe in love. Everything we do from birth until death is based on our acceptance, application, or denial of love. Everything I just mentioned is only a varying degree of the love-hate paradigm. What influences our love, or the denial thereof, are, of course, our courage, fear, lust, bravery, and acceptance, and other things as well. But we'll start there. Norm therapy takes a deep dive into discerning your fear, lust, anger, bravery, and acceptance, and much, much more. I always tell people that confrontation is good and an argument is not. When you confront someone, it should be truthful, and it should be a bit uncomfortable or even painful. This is not to say that you are there to get your feelings hurt or to hurt others either. It's more to say that you are willing to speak the unspeakable as well as the obvious or the occult without losing perspective or objectivity. Unlike when we find ourselves in an argument, it's always about me, I, or mine. Whenever you are fighting for something for yourself, you are giving up your right to be objective. The only two things you should ever defend or fight for in life are honor or the safety of yourself or others. Anything else just isn't worth it. When you find yourself in a confrontation, you are usually looking for some sort of detente or compromise. Not everyone can win all of the time, so you should make losing a part of your existence as well. Accepting loss and moving on is the ideal. Norm therapy brings a sense of balance and clarity. We then take that balance and further clarify it, assess it, and we then begin helping the victims and survivors find their truth within it, not mine or Kelly's or anyone else's, but their truth. These are the hallmark tenets of norm therapy: clarity, assessment, and truth. Ours is not to provide anyone with what we believe to be our norm for them. This would be unfair. No. Rather, ours is to uncover, and oftentimes a lifetime of conditioning of hyperbole and subterfuge that has time and time again convinced many to either destroy themselves or to allow themselves to be destroyed by someone else. People are conditioned to become cowards, inept, slow-minded, unwitting, intimidated, derailed, lost, and most tragically, useless. People normally make these unwilling choices out of fear and pain. The one phrase I hear most often about norm therapy is that it changes someone's life, and almost always for the better, so far. I would say that norm therapy is a veritable solution to meet our abuse-related problems. People having the lack of courage to stand up to bullies, the lack of vision to find a purpose, the absence of confidence to matter, the lack of will to truly live, and the simple propensity to accept merely existing. This is our audience. In norm therapy, we tackle these obstacles one by one or sometimes all at once over a series of interviews and other protocols. We make it a good confrontation to protect and strengthen your countenance as we battle for your very existence. Thank you all for being a meaningful inclusion to our norm therapy family. Again, congratulations to our December 2022 cohort of norm therapy qualified candidates and probationary graduates. Everyone, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And now let's hear some testimonies from our norm therapy interviewees and Aero volunteers who participated in the December NTIS cohort training program. We have Caitlin joining us today. Caitlin, would you please say a few words about your experience with norm therapy?
Yes, thank you. What first brought me to norm therapy was Era's attention to finding the root cause of what contributes to a norm therapy interviewee's mental struggles. I have been through formal therapy in the past and can say firsthand that not all therapy is ultimately helpful. In fact, if it's not done properly, it can even be harmful. Era's passion for giving people the appropriate help they deserve is an incredibly important part of healing from abuse. I found norm therapy to be an incredibly valuable experience. I felt a bit cautious when I first began norm therapy, but my NTIS candidate made me feel completely comfortable opening up to her. She offered helpful feedback, paid great attention to detail, and asked insightful questions. My interviewer supported me through this process and gave me guidance through my personal struggles. Norm therapy has offered me an amazing experience of self-growth and self-reflection that I am incredibly thankful for.
Thank you, Caitlin. And now, Elise, please unmute and share with us your experience as an NTI.
I was excited about participating as an NTI after hearing about the norm therapy program. Everyone was raving about the program, so I knew I wanted to be an NTI. Once enrolled, I knew that the sessions were making an impact on me. My NTIS was very caring, asked a lot of great questions, and follow-up questions that made me think and challenged me greatly. Sometimes I wasn't able to articulate a good answer, but my NTIS candidate consistently made me feel like it was okay. Each session built upon the other session, and I looked forward to each interview. I learned a lot about myself through the sessions, and I have my NTIS to thank for that. If not for norm therapy, I would not have grown into the person I have in a few short weeks. I believe that norm therapy has changed me, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you to Michael Gibson for creating this amazing program and for my NTIS candidate for being patient with me during the sessions.
Thank you, Elise. We have Adrienne joining us today. Adrienne, would you please say a few words about your experience with norm therapy?
Sure, thank you. I'm so happy to have been a part of this process. My NTIS candidate showed empathy, was open-minded and patient with me, and will make an excellent norm therapist. I personally found that the process opened up a lot of channels in me that were previously closed, and I'll be forever grateful for this experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adrienne. Next, we have Amanda. Please unmute and share with us your experience as an NTI.
The NTI experience was not at all what I had expected it to be, but in a good way. I had no idea what to expect, although I knew about certain issues I had surrounding my past. This experience helped me to frame and view aspects of my life differently. The support and care that I received throughout the process was amazing, and I never realized how much my past has impacted my current situation, how it has changed me as a person, and this process helped me hone into the impact of my past on my present. I appreciated the experience and what I've learned from participating as an NTI.
Thank you, Amanda. And Kendra is unable to join us today, so she will be sharing her NTI experience via a video recording.
As an NTI, norm therapy has helped me to unveil parts of myself that I didn't know still caused me pain. My NTIS intake specialist handled me with care, respect, while guiding me to find the truth of what occurred in these relationships. I wanted to say thank you for helping me to unlock doors within myself that were still underlying triggers for me. I was able to find myself again.
Thank you, Kendra. And thank you to all of our NTIs, Caitlin, Elise, Adrienne, Aubrey, Amanda, and Kendra for being an integral part of the Norm Therapy training program. And now it's time for the main event. Here are the class of December 2022 NTIS qualifiers in recognition of their completion of the NTIS training program. If you would kindly stay muted until the end of all announcements being presented for applause, it would be appreciated. Our first NTIS qualifier is Tiffany Algu. Tiffany was unable to attend today's course recognition ceremony, so here's her video acceptance.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Algu. I'm an NTIS candidate for the December 22 cohort. This has been a real eye-opening experience for me since day one. Every session made a difference in my life, from learning about the different forms of trauma and abuse to understanding the many techniques of asking important questions and catching lies in action. Some may not know this about me, but I'm a really pretty introverted person, and I'm not used to asking tougher questions. I'm a much better listener and speaker. I was really nervous during the whole process of asking the tougher questions to my teammates and later my NTI. I've been more of a pastor speaker and have a similar personality. I feel like I've definitely grown a good bit and have become more assertive and confident, being able to voice my opinions and questions more effectively. Working alongside such respectful and kind and open teammates has made everything much easier and provided for a more encouraging environment. I highly recommend taking this journey with these great leaders. I've become a more emotionally intelligent and learned more about myself in the past weeks. I'd like to thank the NTIS instructors who taught me lessons so well, and Kelly and Michael for their explanations, trust, guidance, support, and moves they put in all of us. I'd also like to give a special thanks to my mom, who's been my rock during the most challenging time of my life. It just means so much to me to have such an incredible support system. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tiffany. Our next NTIS qualifier, Lawanisha Falk. Nisha, would you like to say a few words about your experience as a norm therapy intake specialist candidate?
Yes. Norm therapy has really left an imprint on my life. Coming into the norm therapy program, I didn't know what to expect, but knew that I was going to help victims and survivors find their truth. Surprisingly, each module helped me to learn more about myself and gave me a brand new perspective on my life and past traumas. I can think of several times throughout this experience where I have utilized the tools learned in the modules in my personal life. These tools have helped me to build healthier relationships with my spouse and family. Furthermore, equipping me with the knowledge to help others that may have faced similar situations. I would like to give thanks to the entire NTIS December 2022 cohort classmates for an awesome experience. Also, I would like to thank all of the mentors for helping us throughout this course. And a special thank you to Kim, Kelly, and Michael for pushing us each week, no matter how uncomfortable it was. I am very appreciative for this life-changing experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. Our next NTIS qualifier, Khadija Iskandarova. Khadija, would you like to say a few words about your experience as a norm therapy intake specialist candidate?
Yes. Hello, everyone. First, I want to express my happiness in being here. Secondly, my major is psychology, and being an NTIS is a great experience for me as I want to concentrate on my career and become a psychologist. Although I already graduated from an undergraduate school, I never had a chance to closely understand how abuse victims and survivors think and feel. Going through NTIS training opened my eyes more to this topic and helped me realize how much we need an industry that focuses on different kinds of abuses. Other than the perspective of helping people, this training also helped me learn life skills that are incredibly useful. Examples of these skills include learning decision-making, having a balance of empathy and apathy, realizing lies we tell ourselves, and so on. I thank everyone who spent an hour spending countless hours contributing to this amazing goal of helping abuse victims and survivors.
Thank you, Khadija. Our next NTIS qualifier, Kennedy Johnson. Kennedy, would you like to say a few words about your experience as a norm therapy intake specialist candidate?
Yeah. When I initially applied to be a norm therapy intake specialist, I thought it was going to be a volunteer opportunity very similar to my job. I work in the mental health field, so completing intakes is one of my many responsibilities. I remember thinking to myself, I got this. This is going to be an easy experience. Well, I definitely underestimated the rigor and impact of the norm therapy course. I think it is amazing how Michael and Kelly were able to establish a new industry that they have coined as the abuse care industry. When people think of abuse victims, they see them literally helpless. They think getting out of an abusive situation is as easy as going to therapy, telling a friend or family, and just getting away. Additionally, people are not aware of all the different types of abuse. People are more familiar with physical abuse, sexual abuse, and emotional abuse. What I love about norm therapy is that we dig much deeper. As we went through each module, I learned new terms that I've never heard of before, such as affirmed gatekeepers or confirmation bias. Outside of learning technical information, I learned a lot about myself, such as defining self-care and being more assertive. It also gave me a sense of community. Arrow is a safe space, and everyone a part of my cohort has displayed grace, kindness, and understanding throughout the program. We support each other while still being able to give feedback. I want to thank my mom and grandma for being big supporters of me through this process. A lot of people told me this was too much for me to take on or that I was going to be emotionally spent. However, it was just the opposite. If anything, participating in norm therapy has taught me lifelong skills such as time management, self-awareness, how to detect a liar, and much more. This has been a great experience, and I'm excited to see where the rest of my career at Arrow will take me.
Thank you, Kennedy. Our next NTIS qualifier is Mariana Pieria. Mariana, would you like to say a few words about your experience?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I must share that the beginning of this journey was not easy because it is an in-depth, comprehensive, and complex course. Still, it is very important and necessary to become a norm therapy intake specialist. Each lesson instructed was essential for me to practice and perform an effective role play, which helped my norm therapist interviewee gain more clarity. Everything I learned throughout the course resonated with me, and I'm already incorporating these lessons into my everyday life. For example, I could implement actions into my personal life that help me to know myself better and consequently make more assertive decisions. Also, I learned that the truth could often be a well-told lie. A happy person could very well have gone through a lot of trauma and abuse, and sometimes a friend or a person you love can hurt you in ways you never identified as abusive. The course allowed me to have a more critical and cautious look at the world, but also how important it is to love, respect, and pursue my own goals. Today, I would like to thank you, my classmates, for all the insight and questions, my instructors, especially Kim, Kelly, and Michael, and my mentor, Nicole. You did all an excellent job, and I'm so proud to be part of this December cohort. I'm excited for the next steps. It makes me happy to know that I'm helping people find the truth and clarity in their life, which can open up doors to the success. This journey was hard work, but absolutely worth it, and taught me a great deal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariana. Our next NTIS qualifier is Tashvia Tabassum. Tashvia, would you like to share a few words about your experience?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to congratulate all of the graduates for completing the NTIS training program. It has been an incredible journey and a significant milestone to celebrate upon completion of this course. I had the opportunity to learn firsthand what norm therapy is and how to apply it to real life. I believe this experience will help shape me as a person and hopefully help me be a good clinical psychologist in the future. Finally, I want to thank our instructors for presenting each module with such grace, along with explaining the material so well. Thanks to Michael and Kelly for giving me the opportunity to be part of Arrow, and I just can't wait to see how the future of norm therapy will unfold. Thank you.
Thank you, Tashvia. Our next NTIS qualifier is Michelle Bickford. Michelle was selected to be awarded Best Interviewer of her cohort. During the practical application role-play sessions, Michelle did a phenomenal job interviewing. Her capability to control the interview environment while also putting to use the skills learned was well received. She asked the right type of questions at the right time and did an exceptional job asking the ugly questions and helping her NTI get clarity on the truth. She also established rapport with her NTI very well. Congratulations, Michelle, on your special recognition. Would you like to share a few words about your experience?
Thank you so much, Kim. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Bickford, and I wanted to share a few words about my experience. Having participated in the December 2022 cohort, I have learned and recognized how important norm therapy has been in the journey to my personal growth. For a long time, I have struggled with insecurities and anxiety in taking initiative and control of my life both personally and professionally. This course gave me the strength, the vocabulary, and the will to identify toxicity and face it in a healthy way. I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to participate either as an NTIS candidate or a norm therapy interviewee. It has absolutely been life-changing, and I will carry this knowledge with me in all future interactions. I would like to thank Kelly and Kim for always being available to talk to and for understanding some of my personal troubles and struggles. And thank you to Michael, who created norm therapy. And I applaud all of my fellow classmates. I feel like I have gotten to know so much about all of you, and that deep sharing has created a special community. I know that each and every one of us has sacrificed something in order to attend these sessions, but I am proud to know that we will all move forward with heads held higher and the security in knowing we can make a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Our final NTIS qualifier will be presented by Nicole Leonard, NTIS Level 4A Norm Therapist, Norm Therapy Senior HR Supervisor, and March 22 Honor Graduate.
Thank you, Kim. For the December 2022 cohort of Norm Therapy Intake Specialist qualifiers, a special recognition has been given to Mandy Schreck as Honor Graduate. Mandy was truly exceptional during the December cohort as she took on leading stretching exercises for each class, was always enthusiastic, and consistently demonstrated that she knew the material and that she was building on each skill set with every NTI session. She never let an excuse get in the way of her success or completion of assignments. She was very active throughout the course during the sessions with assignment submissions and was highly responsive. Mandy often offered her experiential knowledge in addition to having deeper understanding of the subject matter. In interviewing sessions with the NTI, she openly accepted feedback and immediately applied to effectively guide the NTI to maintain control of the session. When in Overwatch, Mandy provided her peers with effective feedback to promote growth. She had tremendous growth over the last 8 weeks, and she will be an outstanding NTIS therapist in the future. For these and many other reasons, I'm honored to be able to present the Honor Graduate Award to Mandy for her dedication to NTIS training program and to the ultimate mission here at Norm Therapy, which is to help victims and survivors of abuse uncover their truth. Mandy, please accept this recognition and say a few words.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Hi, everyone. My name is Mandy, and I have been with Arrow for over a year. I am currently the editorial manager and was so excited to be given the opportunity to be a part of this NTIS cohort. Throughout my life, and more recently within the past few years, I have gained knowledge in many aspects of mindfulness, Reiki, yoga, and mental health. Norm therapy was the perfect addition to my repertoire, and I cannot thank Kelly and Michael enough for this opportunity. Norm therapy was a missing puzzle piece in not only my own life, but in the building blocks of my future career. Going through this training has changed the way I view the world, has given me an opportunity to grow in my personal life and feel an even deeper connection to Arrow's mission. My experience in the training was nothing short of enlightening, tough at times, but immensely rewarding. I will never take for granted the opportunity and learning experience this has given me in my life. I want to thank my parents and close friends for supporting me through this endeavor, despite how busy I may have gotten. I also would like to thank Kim, Nicole, all our trainers, my mentor Abby, the editorial team, and my fellow NTIS candidates for supporting me and going on this journey together. I cannot wait to see what else the future has in store.
Thank you, Mandy. How about a heartfelt applause for all the NTIS qualified for their course completion and recognition this December 2022. Please unmute and show some love. Congratulations. Thank you. Please resume to mute. We will now hear from some of our more experienced norm therapists who have completed the NTIS training program in the March, May, and August 2022 Trailblazer cohorts. These norm therapists have been an integral part of the continued growth and development of the future of norm therapy and the NTIS training program. First up, Nicole Leonard, NTIS Level 4A Norm Therapist, Norm Therapy Senior HR Supervisor, and March 22 Honor Graduate. Nicole?
Thank you, Kim. Over the last year, I've had the opportunity to experience norm therapy in a much more hands-on capacity with numerous cohorts. Norm therapy pushes you to your limits, whether you're an interviewee or a norm therapist. It makes you look at situations differently and pay more attention to what is actually behind the words a person is saying to you. It brings to light a new way of communicating with one another. Everyone has their own story and struggles in life that they have to overcome. Norm therapy helps to identify these things in a new light and hold an appreciation for the depths of humanity. Watching this cohort learn and grow over the past couple of months has been a wonderful experience. Each candidate has made incredible progress, both personally and professionally, and they all show immense potential. I'm honored to have witnessed their journey and can't wait to see what amazing work they do next. I now turn the mic over to Jenna Eady, NTIS Level 4 Norm Therapist and Norm Therapy Training and Doctrine Senior Supervisor and May 22 graduate.
Thank you, Nicole. It's crazy that I graduated from the course in May, and then now this is, I think, my second cohort that I have overwatched, and it's insane to me to watch the progression of the norm therapy training program and all the candidates. This little spiel before my speech. But being a part of norm therapy has been a life-changing experience. The things I have learned and the skills I have developed have greatly improved my life, both professionally and personally. Mentoring NTIS candidates has also given me so much joy and even more growth within norm therapy. I have enjoyed watching my mentees develop into NTISs and watching their progression during the training course. I am so proud of all the NTIS candidates and wish them all the best in both norm therapy and their future endeavors. Last but certainly not least, I will turn the mic over to Desney Frazier, NTIS Level 4 NTIS Level 4 Norm Therapist and August 2022 graduate.
My experience with norm therapy has been very rewarding. Throughout the norm therapy training, I have learned to host a norm therapy interview session, provided interview feedback for NTIS candidates, and added input to every norm therapy cohort. In norm therapy, I have also participated in norm therapy department meetings and norm therapy business development meetings. I pride myself on being fully engaged in the meetings by listening and asking thought-provoking questions. In mentoring the December 22 candidates. It has been exciting and exploratory. Mentoring has been something that I have adapted to, but I have found it to be a bit of a learning curve for me. With mentoring the December 22 candidates, I have learned to evaluate the progress of the candidates by checking if homework, tasks, and assignments have been completed and providing suggestions on how the candidates can improve on their interviews during role play sessions. And I would like to say congratulations to all of the NTIS candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, Desmi, Jenna, and Nicole. And thank you to the Norm Therapy Intake Specialists for your dedication and commitment to the mission of Arrow. Thanks to all the Norm Therapy interviewees for your participation in our 7th cohort program. We couldn't have done it without all of you. Shout out to our pioneers for your continued passion in the success of Norm Therapy and the vision of where we can go in the future, along with all the preparations in making this event possible. Thank you to our March, May, August, and November 22 graduates who served in multiple Norm Therapy capacities, as well as being mentors for the December candidates and now qualifiers. And I want to share with everyone what a privilege and honor it was for me to have hosted the course recognition ceremony for the 4th time. If you are interested in learning more about Norm Therapy or Abuse Refuge Org, please check out our website at goarrow.org and encourage volunteers, victims or survivors, professional clinicians, doctors, therapists, and social workers to do the same. Most importantly, don't forget to make a donation by clicking the donate button at the top of the main page of our website. This concludes the official course recognition ceremony. However, if you want to stick around and talk to Michael Gibson, Kelly Dean, and myself, along with the special guest, the Honorable Reverend Dr. Gregory Jerome Thomas, Sr., and our Norm Therapy cadre, we will be available to answer your questions about Norm Therapy, the abuse care community, and the NTIS training program. Thank you all again. Wishing you a great evening and weekend.